Hello, Kalive here, and welcome back to Ark Survival Ascended, Scorched Earth. So, in the between episodes, we did get a couple of things done. We found a new base location over there. We'll check that out later. We did also get that 150 thorny dragon. So, look at the stats here. We got pretty good stats, actually. The health is 50, which is pretty good. And the only downside to this is that the weight is really terrible. It's 26, so it's not much better than the current one we have as far as weight, and we really need the weight. That's like one of the most important stats for thorny dragons. So we still need to go find one, but it did get a pretty good melee roll, so we were able to get more wood off of the trees. And yeah, that's not bad. At least it's a good start. So we'll have to go get another thorny dragon. This is a male, so we need to get a female one that hopefully has a really good weight stat. Other than that, I've just been crafting. We got narcotics going. We got spark powder and cementing pastes and gunpowder. And then here we have clay. So just making lots of clay, lots of sand and stuff. And what I wanted to show you though is that the whip has a lot of uses, and I kind of mentioned that before, but I didn't really show it off. So we got this guy here that's full, can't move. So we can use the whip to actually move him. So even if they're overburdened by a lot, you can use the whip to move them. Any of your dinosaurs, which is really nice, very handy. And if they have like a bunch of stuff in here that you want to get rid of, or want to move somewhere else, just dump it out on the floor here. And you can use the whip. And just grab everything. Oh, did not mean to do that. Okay. So now we're overburdened. We have way more weight than we should have right now. And we can just drop this off now. So it makes moving items around a lot quicker, and the whip's going to be used pretty much in every map that has silk on it. So every map going forward pretty much. And I mean, you can move a lot of stuff. Like there's no limits. I guess there's a limit to how many things you can carry in your slots, which is like 300, but you can just whip everything and then move it to inventories, and the weight doesn't matter. So yeah, moving stuff is much easier now with the whip. The other thing that we did is we also got some cryopods made. So I was able to get a few of them made. Not too many though, but that's going to give us the ability to move stuff to the new location. I got the polymer from a drop. I think it was a blue drop. So that's what we're going to do next, is we're going to go over there and move some stuff over there. Probably throw out the dinos. And then we have the RGs. I'm going to load both of these RGs up with everything that we have, starting with the food, so we can get things set up over there. That's the plan. So I'm done getting everything set up, then we'll be able to go over there and check it out. So I'll see you in a moment. Okay, I was out here working on the base, and finally we got a windstorm. This is a sandstorm, and if you look at our stamina, it's slowly draining down. We're not even moving, we're just standing still. So we do have a debuff on us. That debuff is just go inside and protect yourself from the sandstorm. So that's what we're gonna do. This is kind of what you have to do during these storms. You have a tent, that'll work too. And it usually only lasts for about an hour in game. You don't have to worry about it too much. But yeah, that's the sandstorm. I'm gonna go out here and complete the base once this is over. So we finally saw all the events now. So now we can prepare for them, and now we know what to do whenever each one of those hits. I guess with the exception of the lightning storm, we have to prepare for that one whenever we get a generator. But we're not there yet, and we will be there soon. So when that occurs, then we'll take a look at it. Alright, just heading back from a couple of red drops. So I did get a Rex saddle blueprint, which is kind of nice. Then a couple of Rex saddles, and then a Thylacoleo saddle, a better one I think that we have before. Then electronics, which is nice, Tapejara saddle, and then Daedon saddle. I'm not going to use Daedons in this map. But we did move the base, so I got everything moved over, and if you look at the map, this is where we used to be, right here. This is where I moved at. This is like a plateau. It's got a bridge to another plateau. So there's two different spots you can actually build at in here. And it doesn't take much to block those off to prevent things from getting to you. So that's where we are. If I go up higher, we could probably see it from here. Let me turn this off real quick. There we go. So let's zoom in here. So yeah, there it is right there. Oh, yeah, straight this way. It's like right up in here. This is where we're at. There's like a ramp that goes all the way up to the top. And there's the bridge back there. And there's the next plateau back there. And yeah, the ramp goes all the way down to the water. And this water, there's a few dangerous dinos here, but nothing too bad. You know, we're not going to be messing with like wyverns or anything over here. We're really far from the wyvern trench, so a stray wyvern probably wouldn't make it this far. But yeah, this is it. And let's go up a little bit higher, like a little view. There's the little temporary base right there. I'm probably gonna make the base on this backside right here. This is pretty flat. And then I'll make the garden over here. And then the rest of this area will be just for dinosaurs to roam on. If I do expand out this way, I might move the base in between. So this is the little area in between. It's a pretty nice area. But I don't really see me needing that much space. Like this is the other part of the plateau is right here. And then there's a bridge over there. Yeah, there's a bridge over there. This is probably a better spot, but I didn't want to spend the time to secure this area. Even though I did kill a lot of stuff over here already. You know, there's pros and cons to every space that you're going to build at. The benefits to this one is you do have water, which is probably the most important thing on this map. And the other benefits is that we're actually really close to metal. So over there, that little hill where we got metal from. There's also metal on that one back there, and that one way over there in the distance around the green obelisk. So we're actually pretty close to metal. We're pretty close to obsidian and crystal, which is up here on these plateaus. And we're close to other resources, which I'm going to actually show where to get all the important resources for technology, which is what we're going to be getting into very soon. Alright, so I wanted to spend this time to go through where we can find each resource on this map. And the first one we're going to look at is preserving salt. So preserving salt, you can craft in the mortar and pestle, and it just requires sulfur and raw salt. Raw salt, there are salt deposits in the desert, pretty close to the oases. So you can definitely see them. They're like bushy areas that are pretty easy to spot because the rest of the desert's just sand dunes. So when you make the salt, you can stick it into a vessel, and these vessels will preserve it even longer. And the vessels are pretty easy to make. They only require 3 ingredients: clay, thatch, and wood. But when you do want to use the salt, you put it in one of your dinos, and it will extend the time of the food in that dino by a lot. So it does stack into 6, but it only lasts for 20 minutes per salt. So that means you have 2 hours roughly of time before you use up all the salt, and then the food will start decaying at a normal rate. And these are primarily used for dinos, so you're going to be using this in a dino that you're going to need to have stuff being preserved in for longer times. So for one berry, it's 1 hour. In my inventory, a berry is 8 minutes. So you can see the time extended by quite a bit in here. So that's just the salts too. The salt's very easy to get. Sulfur, you can find sulfur in the mountains, and I'll go show you that here in a second. I'll go out there and show you where those are at. The sulfur and salt are over there in the mountains and in the desert. So very easy to get. And yeah, we'll head out there and show you. But I just wanted to show you that this is one resource you're going to probably want to start making pretty early on. And it's very easy to get that. And all this stuff came from drops, like all this stuff right here. Different soups. There's a cactus broth soup, which is a new one. And it reduces the range that an enemy can track you. So it's kind of like bug repellent, but this affects every enemy, which makes this incredibly useful on this map. Reduces your aggro range. Alright, so let's go head out and see where the salt is and where the sulfur is. Alright, and this is where we're going to find sulfur. We're right by the blue obelisk. This is kind of where we are on the map. Hard to see that. Let's look at the bigger map. I need to be quick though because it's very hot here. If you come up here, you definitely want to bring a tent just because it gets so hot up here. But you're looking for these rocks, these yellow rocks. And these yellow rocks are sulfur rocks. Now you want to be very, very careful because there are elementals up here. Quite a few, to be honest. There's a ton of them, and we're also very close to the wyvern trench. You can occasionally get a stray wyvern, and if you're on something like RG, that's going to be death because there's no way you can outrun a wyvern. Yeah, the wyvern trench is like right over there, right behind this hill right here. I don't know if we can, yeah, we can see part of it right there. But it runs all along this side of the map towards the blue obelisk. Alright, so let's go to the desert and I'll show you the salt because it's everywhere in there. It's just really hard to spot on the mountains. Alright, so we're close to the desert area and I just want to show you this. So like these little oasis areas right here. Maybe not this one right here because this one has a building on it, but there are some other ones like this one over here that's going to have these salt crystals. And this is an example of a salt crystal. I found one not quite in the desert. And here we go. So it looks like this. So you just hit this and you're going to get salt from it. It doesn't take much to make a bunch of preserving salt. And with the preserving salt, the main point of having that stuff is you can put it in your dino, like your Argentavis, and it'll preserve meat. But the reason why they put it on this map in particular is because you're going to need it for wyvern milk. Wyvern milk spoils very fast, so if you don't have preserving salt... Oh, saw it come up last second. Yeah, if you don't have preserving salt, then you're going to be really stuck trying to get it ferried back to your base. And it may not even last if you're a little far away from where the wyvern trench is. So getting salt and preserving salt will definitely extend the time of the wyvern milk. And it'll let you feed the babies the wyvern milk, 'cause that's the only thing they do eat. You can't feed them anything else. So wyvern raising is going to be quite the challenge. And they introduced preserving salt, and that'll help with alleviating some of the problems that you run into with the wyvern milk being spoiled. So you have quite a bit of time. You have 2 hours of preserving time on whatever you put in your inventory, and the salt lasts a long time in the vessels. So you can make a couple of stacks of those preserving salts, stick them in the vessels, and just use them as the need arises. So that is the salt, and that's the sulfur. So let's take a look at something really close by, which is going to be the organic polymer. Alright, so this is the desert area, and the main danger in the desert, besides the different wildlife there, is going to be heat stroke. So you'll be very, very careful with heat stroke, because if you have it for too long, you're just going to blur your vision. It's going to be really hard to see stuff if you do have it. But the reason why you come out here is because of all the resources, the salt I mentioned before, but the main resource is going to be organic polymer. And organic polymer comes from these guys here, these mantises. 55, what is this guy? 75, okay. 55 should be pretty easy to get. And they do hit quite hard, so you want to be very careful with that. Oh, it's 5, nice. Let's kill him. Yeah, 100 polymer, but look how much chitin we got. So this is the other resource out here is chitin. You can find a lot of chitin, there's lots of bugs out here. Ooh, whips, nice. Let's get rid of that. You find a good sorts of whips too from these mantis. Mantises have a lot of uses, and we'll get into that a little bit more. I definitely will tame some. These are like the best of everything. Like they can get different resources like wood and thatch and metal. They're really good at all that stuff because they can hold tools. But we'll get into that a little bit more. So I just use my RG to harvest that mantis, but there's a better method of harvesting mantises for polymer, and that's a chainsaw. So once we get a chainsaw, I can probably learn it now actually. Once we get this, which is not terrible, then you can start really harvesting polymer. Like one mantis will probably give you 500, maybe 600 polymer. So we just got about 100 from, well, we got 100 exactly from that one mantis, and that was level 5. Once we get the chainsaw, then things like polymer and chitin become really easy to get. And even hide. So if you're making saddles, hide becomes very easy to get. A lot of people come to this map to find a drop with a chainsaw blueprint, and then they go back to the island and they can make the chainsaw on the island. So desert, definitely lots of resources here. You can find water here. Just the biggest thing is going to be dealing with the heat stroke when it does happen. And if there's ever like a superheat event, you're going to be spending a lot of time struggling with keeping heat stroke down. So we'll get to the desert a little bit more later, especially when we get to the Wyvern Trench. I'm going to be building a lot in the desert to kind of help with all the situations we might encounter, like dealing with wyverns, dealing with heat stroke. So we'll build more out there once we get to that point. The next resource I wanted to talk about is Silica Pearls, because you're going to need a lot of Silica Pearls for things like electronics. And Silica Pearls are hard to farm up because only one dino on this map has them, and that's the Phoenix. And the Phoenix is very hard to get. Oh, there's a thing attacking me. Gotta watch out for the saber-tooths down here. Gotta love the headshots. So you're gonna spend a lot of time actually farming these up, and the Silica Pearls are actually found on the beaches. It's also in the water too, but it's very hard to see. And I have no idea what it actually looks like. I just come out here and I start spamming E. And let's see if we can grab anything. You do want to be careful with things like capros in the water, because they will kill you if you're not prepared. Okay, we did find one. So somewhere in here is a clam. And yeah, it's like hard to see. I have no idea where that thing is. It's somewhere in here, but there we go. We just grabbed some more. Yeah, I have no idea where they are. I don't know if they're bugged and you can't see them right now. So it may be fixed, but even if I turn down, let's turn this down to like 0.01. Alright, so let's get rid of all that grass. Yeah, I don't even see it. It's somewhere here. You can grab it, but it may be underground. Unless that's it, maybe? I think it's gone. Okay. Oh no, there's more. So this is how you get the Silica Pearls. There's more right here somewhere. And yeah, I have no idea. Maybe it's a setting that I have on that's preventing me from seeing it. But there are Silica Pearls like on the beaches here. So here's the beach where I'm at right now. There's a cliff right there, and there's the base is like right over there on that plateau. You just have to walk around and just start grabbing stuff. It may take you a little bit of time, but eventually you'll find one and you'll get some Silica Pearls. Let's change this back. Yeah, I was just messing with the grass scale and size. Okay, so I have no idea what it looks like, but they are on the beach, so I'm sure they'll fix it, and then you'll be able to see the actual clamshells on the beach and in the water. They're apparently in the water too. I just have a very hard time finding them. And they're along this beach as well, the north side of the beach. On these beaches, you can probably find some. You just might have to grab all this stuff out of it first, like all the grass and stuff first. Then eventually you'll find them. But yeah, so that's how you get Silica Pearls. Another way to get Silica Pearls is going to be the Phoenix, like I mentioned before. Alright, so I'm a little bit in the future, and I wanted to add this on to the section about the Silica Pearls. Only because there is actually a better place to get Silica Pearls. And I was able to find a lot more. This area though is kind of dangerous because there are capros in the water. Definitely need to clear out the capros. But if we go to the water here, you can see all these pearls. So these are actually visible here. I don't know what's the deal with the ones that are in the other places, but you can actually see a lot of them here. So this is what we should be seeing. So if you want to get Silica Pearls, you can come to the red obelisk, and I believe it's every obelisk has water and actually can have Silica Pearls in it, and probably has a better option for Silica Pearls. Yeah, you can even see on land right here, there's Silica Pearls. So this is definitely the place to go. So go to one of the obelisks and you'll get a lot of them. But it is definitely worth the trip to come out to one of these. Alright, so we're out here in the Badlands, and this is kind of like the metal area that I like to go to. But we're not here for that, we're here for a different resource. So the next resource I want to talk about is going to be oil. And this is where we are on the map, by the way. This is like the center part here. This is the spot. 50, 62, roughly is where we're at. And oil, there is a couple of ways to get that. One, you get that from the jug bugs. So we've seen those already. They're out throughout the central part, and they just fly around. Little bitty bugs that hold the oil, stuff like that. So we've already seen those already. So the other method for getting oil is oil pumps, and you can get these from purple drops. That's where I got this one from. They might be in yellow drops, or maybe they might even be in blue drops. So definitely purple drops though. So if you see a purple drop with a ring and you need an oil pump, try to go for that one. If not, then you have to go ahead and craft this. And these you can craft inside of a fabricator. It doesn't cost a ton. 25 metal, 25 crystal, and 25 electronics. They do wear down though, so keep that in mind. You have to probably make multiple of these. And what you do with these is you have to go out and find the oil spots in the world. And what those look like is this. Right here with this gray rock, and this is what it looks like without the oil pump on it. And the oil pump will snap to it. And so we can like switch it around or move it around if we wanted to. I don't think it matters which way it's facing. And once you put it down, it immediately starts working. It doesn't require any power. It'll work and be fine. The one thing you need to do with these is actually maintain them. I believe they do wear down in the heat, just like the generators do. So you have to come check it out every once in a while. They may not wear down in the heat, I'm not quite sure. But if we open this up, we see we have oil now. And the oil accumulates over time. There are 50 slots in here, so this thing could be running non-stop on a server. And it'll fill this thing up fairly quickly. I think it's like one oil every 10 seconds maybe a little bit more than that. But you're gonna get quite a bit of oil, especially over hours and hours of gameplay time. And there's multiple of these. There's actually two right here. So there's one right here and there's one right next to it right here. I'm not exactly sure how many there are of these on the map, and I'm not sure where they are located. I just know that there are some around this particular spot right here, and there are two right next to each other. I've seen multiple around this spot, around this mountain here, and this is where I go to get metal. So if you are just out scouting around, you probably want to find these, and then you want to label them. Yeah, you just want to label these, put a marker down, just let you know what it is. Only we can go black. Yeah, we can go black. Nice. Alright, so we got a nice little marker for oil now. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. These things will definitely accumulate oil. You can come back here every once in a while, and you can have multiple of these down across the map. I don't think these things are lockable. So if you are on a PvE server, like an official server, people tend to throw these down right away, and then they're kind of like free for alls. You come over here and just grab what you need, and then let it keep running. Alright, so that's pretty much it for all the resources. We know how to get the salt, the sulfur, we know how to get silica pearls, we know how to get fiber, we know how to get oil now, organic polymer. We also know how to get obsidian and crystal from top of the plateaus in the middle, and we know how to get metal. So we've kind of covered the vast majority of resources that we're going to need to go into the next tier of technology, which will be the fabricator and all the machines that we can make with the fabricator. And that's kind of the next step. Once we get our base up and running, is we're going to be going in straight into tech. But I mostly just wanted to mention where to get all these resources, in case you're wondering and you're trying to farm up these resources yourself. You now know how to get all of the resources to get to the next phase, which will be the fabricator and crafting those machines from the fabricator. Alright, and this is the foundations. It's almost done. I should just get one more ceiling over there. But we do have enough room to expand this way if we need to. We could expand towards this other plateau if we wanted to do that, but I wanted to make a 6 by 8, so it's 6 deep and 8 long, 8 wide, and this is going to be enough to get all the fabricator and all the different machines in there. I'm not going to do as many windows as I did in the previous one, just because the windows don't really do well with the heat. You need to put a lot of actual window panes on them, so I'm not going to quite do that, but this will at least suffice for now. And then we'll do a couple of windows that we can open up every once in a while. I'll probably make this one 2 levels just because we are going to need more space in this area. But the first level needs to be 4 high just to fit everything in there. And I'll do the same thing I did before where I'm going to have like a little balcony area over here. And I'm not going to probably build down there just yet, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, so we'll continue working and I'm going to make the walls now, then the ceilings. Alright, we're back, and this is the base. It's probably needs a little bit more refinement, but at least it gets the job done for now. So we do have like a little roof access up here. It is all enclosed, so we don't lose our buff when we get in here, so it gives us the full insulation. But it is fairly big, which I think is fine. Those birds, I don't know why they do that on this floor. So there's 2 floors, well, half floor, I guess. And this half floor just has storage up here and the bed. And then up here is the way out to the roof. Let's close that. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the forges on this side. And when I get the big forge, I'm gonna put the big forge over here so it can actually reach to the top. And then this side will probably be fabricator, chemistry bench, and probably cookers over here. So I'll have the water down below. Then in here, I'll have to fix this a little bit, but this is going to be like the entryway. Whenever I start getting metal and stuff, I'm just going to drop it off here. I'm going to open this area up, and I'll be able to let the bird fly in with whatever I have, dinosaur I have. And then yeah, so we have a nice little area down here we can look at. It's not a bad view. Kind of like this view, the canyons and then the mountains in the background. And we have a little missing spot here. I need to put the rails around the edges. And I guess I could use this as like a taming spot too if I needed to tame something. I can just drop it in here with the rails. It shouldn't be able to escape. So it could be a multi-purpose. And that's pretty much it. Not much to look at here. I was in the middle of moving everything, so I'm still moving stuff. And I have to finish that up. And yeah, so I'll have a smithy here. And I think I'm gonna put the grinder back here, and then everything else will be over here. I'm gonna need to run the power on the roof. And I believe I need to enclose that on this map. So I need to make like a little generator box somewhere up here. And then enclose it. I'll probably put it like up here in this corner somewhere. So it can reach like out into the open here, and then the rest of this building. Maybe in this corner, I'm not sure. Or I could just build onto this little box here and then just build there. I don't know, I'll figure it out. Yeah, so I think we're kind of settled now. We actually have space to get stuff. So we do have a lot of storage now. And I think it only took me... I started working on the 3rd, so it took me 3 days in game, roughly. Not too bad. Most of it's just farming up the sand. That's like really the hardest part. I think it's the wood. The wood's not too bad though, with a thorny dragon. But yeah, sand and wood were the 2 hardest parts. I really needed a heavier weight Doedicurus so I can grab more stuff, because I was just doing a lot of back and forth, and the sand weighs so much. It is pretty nice because you can actually run them into this room here. So you can get them like over here next to the mortar and pestle with a bunch of sand on it, like maxed amount of sand you can carry, and just dump it all in here and then just start crafting stuff up. Really, that's about it. Whips do make it really easy to farm stuff up. Then you can just drop the dino off in front of the door and then whip it back in here. Alright, that's the base. I still need to move a couple more things over, and I'm probably going to build a couple more forges and then go do a large metal run with all 3 Argentavises, like chain following me. It was a red drop. I have to go grab that one. I think that's on that little ledge. But yeah, there's lots of drops around here. I've just been trying to collect them. If I see a ring, if it's purple or higher with a ring, I pretty much just go after it. Like right there's a red and purple. I'll go grab those here pretty soon. But yeah, I need to do a big metal run, so I need to start getting some metal going so I can make the fabricator. That's kind of the next step, is the fabricator and a generator. And along with the generator, there is another item. That's going to be the wind turbine. I did learn it. It does require a fabricator. What this does though is it takes the wind and converts it to electricity, but it also reduces the fuel consumption and heat damage of generators. So I can have the generator and the windmill, or the wind turbine, up top on the roof, right next to each other, and it should be fine. I thought about doing the, like, expanding out a little more and putting the farm up here, but I'm not quite sure I'm going to do that. But I'll figure that out. Alright, we're back at the mining area. I did go get quite a bit of metal. I do have 3 RGs at the moment. Some of these are not very good RGs, like don't have a lot of weight in them. I did want to check on the oil pump. Oh, there's a Coolio here. Well, 5. Are you breaking my structure? Breaking my structure. Oh no. Oof, that took a lot of damage. But this is what we get. So we get quite a bit of metal, or we get quite a bit of oil from the structure. Yeah, it's been about 3 hours. So that's a decent amount of oil from those 3 hours. This thing will keep going. It'll max out at 50 stacks. So, I mean, one of these is probably good for one person. More than enough for one person. So I couldn't imagine just having 2 of these. I don't know what you'd be doing with all that oil and gasoline. So maybe making a lot of generators. Not sure. But this is what we've got. We've got 3 RGs. And I still have a couple of more nodes left. I couldn't fit them all in here. Another Thylacoleo. 25. Not quite ready for that yet. So we have this one. This is the lowest weight one. This is just the one I'm going to ride on. Nothing in there. This one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 11.5 stacks. And then 4, so like probably like 16 between those 2. And then this one right here, roughly 22.5 stacks of metal. So bring this guy back, and then I'll put these guys on like level 4 follow, so they're not gonna follow like right away, but they're gonna follow pretty far behind. That purple one's coming down right on our base. That's interesting. Only ever seen blue fall down on the base, but that's where that base is, right there. So yeah, let's head back there. Other Thylacoleo. 35. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get a Thylacoleo, I believe, or a direwolf for the caves. So I'll be out here quite a bit. But this is what they'll do. They'll just keep following. That one in the back's kind of full until it's going slower than the other ones. That's okay. Yeah, I'll head back to the base, get this going. I need to make more forges, but eventually we'll have enough to craft probably the fabricator after this all smelts up, and maybe the chemistry bench. Well, I did want to mention that we actually got running water in here, so we have the tap. Oops, like right here. Let me get this guy out of the way. This one doesn't have a saddle. Yeah, so here's the water right here. Made a water tap. I ran it from the bottom down there. It's actually, I only need one container. So there's the one that we needed. And the faucet's all the way down at the bottom down there. But yeah, so we do have running water up here, which is very nice. And I did make a crystal jar. But you can see the crystal jar is already empty. I didn't even drink any out of this. It's already empty. So I might use this if I'm going like very, very far away, but other than that, I'm probably not going to use it that much. I might actually just bring a Morello tops with me. put it in a cryo pod and throw it out whenever I need water. It's probably the best method of keeping water on you, because you can get quite a bit of water on those things. Other than that, you have to get a canteen. You want to do it the, I guess, legit way. Alright, we did make the fabricator, so we should now be able to drop that down. I'm gonna put it in maybe like right, well, put it over a little bit more. I want to put the bookshelf right here that has all the recipes. So what we do now is throw in some gasoline. Remember, gasoline is oil and hide. You put it inside of a forge and it will craft gasoline automatically. And then we need to get some electronics, which I got this from drops. Electronics here. But electronics are pretty simple. Silica pearls and metal. And I've already mentioned where to get silica pearls from, so you should know how to get those now. But we can now turn this on and let's craft our, let's see, generator. Nice, there we go. And we now have a generator, so this can go on the roof. Let's see what range it gets us. We put it on the roof. Made a little hut for it, so hopefully this will keep it from getting too beat up. But we will need to make a turbine as well, which, you know, we probably could do that. Let me just put this stuff in here. Let's turn this on. Let's see what the range is. Oh, that's a good range. Yeah, so we should be getting the entire building at least. So that's perfect. We could build up here if we need to. So let's turn this on. Now we have power. So we have our generator, we have a fabricator going. And we can now put lighting in here. Definitely gonna put lighting in here pretty soon. Actually, let's see what it takes to make lighting. I don't think I learned lamps yet. I did realize that if these are good, but they're not the best, these lampposts are actually much better. And we should have enough for that. We just need crystal. So let's craft this. It's electrical. Oh, we need cementing paste for the turbine. I'll make that too. Just enough, I think. We need 20, right? Okay. That's going, and then make 2 of these. If you put these like high up, it's actually not that bad. So I go to a corner, and these are directional, so they only like shine in one direction. But you can put them on walls, fortunately. Depending on where the walls line up, that might be too high. But even then, what we could do is just do this, unsnap this. Put it like an angle. There we go. And it's too bright. Alright, so we have like one side of the base covered. And if we just put one on the other side, we should be fine. So I'll put one right here, actually. Kind of facing down. So now we should be able to cover this entire area. Yeah, there we go. So we can pick this one up. And if you elevate these high enough, like probably like halfway, like up where that one is, you get a pretty good coverage of light. So I find if we like were to stick a like quarter wall up there and put this, and then put this lamp on top of it at an angle where it covers this whole room, it should be more than enough light. So we're actually getting light up here, we're getting light down there. I just need to get one more for over here. And I might do it in this corner, just like put a quarter wall like right here in this corner, and then put the lamp right above it, and then face it this way, and we should be able to cover the entire base with just 2 of these directional lamps. So I find this to be a much better way to set this up. And one other thing we can start making, I believe, is refrigerator, structures, electric, metal, polymer. So we need to go to the desert, get some polymer, And then we should have the metal cooked up already. The other electronics, I can craft more electronics if we need to. We need more crystal, but we can make a bunch of air conditioners and a couple of refrigerators. And the refrigerators are going to be useful for storing all the food, all the eggs. I'm going to put them like probably over here next to these vessels. This I don't need anymore. Last thing I want to do is put the windmill up. So let's go put this up. This thing was pretty big. But it's supposed to improve efficiency of our generator. Kind of interested in how that works. So this is 3 days, 22 hours. And let's turn off this range. This thing, we should be able to, yeah, you can see how big this thing is. Let's see. Look how high it goes. We could put it behind it maybe, right? Kind of out of the way. That'd be great. Yeah, that's perfect. Alright. The only problem with these is... oh, that's all of massive area. So, how the windmills work is if we look at our screen here, if we look at our character sheet, we can see that there, it says Essential Canyons, which is where we're at, and it says 65% W, which means that the wind is 65%. If we hit H, we get the same kind of information, 65%. So we know what percentage the wind is. How this worked before is if the wind fell below 60%, this thing would shut off, like it would not work anymore. But I think they changed it. I'm not seeing any increase in the fuel, but this may be off. Hard to tell if this thing's off right now because it's still lit up. But how this is supposed to work is if the windmill's running, the generator will shut off or pause. Whenever the windmill stops running or stops working, then the generator will pick up. So that's how you're supposed to be able to increase the fuel efficiency, is that way. Yeah, it's I don't know exactly how to tell whether these things are working or not, but we'll just assume that it is working. But yeah, so that is all the electronic stuff. I can't make the chemistry bench yet because I'm not 82, but once I hit 82, I will definitely be able to hit the chemistry bench up. So in the next episode, I definitely want to make air conditioners to start raising eggs. Not in wyvern eggs yet, but definitely want to get the Argentavis eggs going. In order to raise wyverns, you're probably going to need about 15 air conditioners. So I can start crafting those now, but eventually I'm going to need to get many more. And I'm going to have to have like my own little wyvern room. Their eggs require a lot of heat, I believe. You need a very hot area. Maybe during the event that provides extreme heat, it might cover the heat amount for the eggs. But we definitely need air conditioners to increase that heat amount. We might also need a bunch of torches to provide even more heat. So I'll be able to figure that out once we get into that spot. But that's kind of the next step, is to get the ACs going and get some eggs going. So definitely want to get some better RGs for the weight, for the damage. And then we can start venturing out a little further. Alright, so that's going to be it. We did do quite a bit in this episode. We got running water, electricity, a base. We did wind up getting a lot of metal, crystal. We found all the resources are, and we got a lot of forges going here, so we'll be able to get all this metal going and a lot more. We're gonna need a lot of charcoal and a lot of gunpowder for our wyvern experience, and I'll show you how that goes here pretty soon. But that is something we can look forward to. That's going to be it. I thank you for watching. I appreciate all the support. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.